Picture this. You're working as an employee at Walmart or another big mega corporation in mid to late 2021. You hear Maroon 5's Lost on the radio. Tell me, what is your initial reaction to it? Fun and chill, yeah? But you are hypothetically a full-time worker and you hear Lost every day for months on end. Does not sound fun, does it? Maroon 5's Jordi, their 7th studio album, released on June 11th, 2021, and never have I ever been more disgusted and bored and appalled in an album in my life.
I just hear very ugly music.
Yeah. Sears music?
More like JCPenney music, it sounds like. You know when you're like in the elevator or you're looking for clothes and that nasty music comes on?
I know this is meant to be a commercial airwave friendly pop album that is meant to be consumed and pooped right back out for the next consumer. But holy crap if it isn't painstakingly evident in Jordi. This music sucks my soul right out of my body and makes me want to be dead. Anyway, let's get into this literal dumpster fire of an album. Fun fact, did you know that this album has 25 producers? 25 producers. 25 producers for music that sounds so bland and monotonous. That is extremely absurd and downright shocking for that many producers. I can think of numerous albums with only 1 or 2 producers, even some with around that many or near about. They're miles and miles and miles better than Jordi. So many producers that couldn't even make one good song. It's the exact same with a very minimal change in sound. Nothing sounds unique. It all melds into one blob of generic hi-hats and samples and vocals by the end. It's especially sad because there's so many good producers present on here, but they had to produce this slop. It's almost like Adam Levine had a gun to their heads telling them what he wanted to hear. There are no interesting melodies played, no cool beats, no cool auto-tunes or production, no cool samples, nothing. Zilch. Nada. A big fat goose egg of an album production-wise. As generic as it gets in terms of pop music, it sounds like Adam Levine was sitting in the studio twiddling his thumbs and allowing AI and monkeys write the lyrics. Nothing sounds good lyrically. On a sad note, even the one song that has some saving grace, Memories, due to its context in real life, does not even do much for me lyrically. I feel guilty saying that about art made for expressing grief, but it just sounds like everything else here, which is completely corporate brain musher type music. Not even the guest feature writers could say the tracks they're on, which is disappointing because there are a lot of cool collaborations on this album, but nothing pans out into anything worthwhile or memorable. Again, this just turns into brain mush music that makes me want to die in the inside. I'm going insane and feral at this point. I just don't want to talk about this piece of crap anymore. Nothing is present in Adam's vocals and raps, nor is there anything present in the other guests either. Guest features like Megan the freaking Stallion, Black Bear, Her, Juice WRLD, Stevie Nicks, and all the other features. None of them have any memorable flows, bars, or performances. The biggest shockers are Megan and especially Nicks, as both generally have great bars and wordplays. Juice's feature falls flat and is sad because it's just another feature in a long line of them that have been soulless and just meant to be a cash cow after his passing. Black Bear might be the best feature of the bunch of notable ones. It still doesn't even sound all that good. And I'm not even gonna lie, I completely forgot about her being in the song. Possibly the worst feature of the bunch because I can't even remember where she was in the song. The other features present throughout Jordi are just as forgettable and bland and generic as the noteworthy ones. If it wasn't evident, I am really not a fan of this album. Really not. The production is some of the worst I've ever heard because of how inoffensive and radio safe it is trying to be. And clearly was because it sold over 500,000 units. Why? How it has had 25 different producers and still manages to sound half-baked and terribly mediocre. How bland it actually sounds. The generic lyricism that takes no risk and uses the same wordplay that's been used a billion times at this point. The features that on paper seem like they would add some really cool and interesting aspects to the song, but nope, just wind up sounding just as monotonous as the rest of the band, and it appears that I'm not the only one on the internet who dislikes it. General critic reception for Jordi ranged from negative to mixed at best, deservingly so. This album is the first thing that pops in my mind when I think of capitalism and corporations. An album that is designed to be fodder and to be played over and over and over again with no substance whatsoever. And look, sometimes there can be albums and projects that fit that description and still be good. Projects like Justin Timberlake's 2020 and Silk Sonic's An Evening with Silk Sonic are good commercial projects that actually take risks, sound good, and are genuinely enjoyable pieces of commercial pop and soul. There are also projects that on paper sound like what I've described Jordi to be, and are, but are still enjoyable to an extent, at least by me. Projects like Taylor Swift's Lover and Panic at the Disco's Death of a Bachelor are the definitions of commercial pop albums cashing on the popular sound at the time, but the difference between Jordi and them is that the other two actually take creative risks and put their own spin on the formula, having creative choices that are unconventional and add a unique flair and authenticity to their respective projects, especially Death of a Bachelor. Jordi is neither of those examples and just flounders in its own mush, starved of creativity and authenticity. As my first big video, I enjoyed venting about one of the worst albums I've ever heard. If I never sat down and listened to projects like this, I would never truly appreciate the good music I listen to consistently. And while I was not a big fan of this project, I can imagine that there are fans of it who love it genuinely with all their heart. And to that, I say that I respect you. Your opinions are always welcome, and by no means what I have said is objective. This is just subjective opinions on this channel. Nah, just kidding. If you like Jordi, you're a bot. Feel free to comment down below if I missed something. If my opinion is wrong, a suggestion, or just say hi. I always read my comments. I'm off to the stars. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.